We are recording. Very nice, very nice. This water is delicious. Hey, what's poppin'? Welcome to the obligatory YouTuber editing video. So yeah, doing a editing tutorial video today. It's a little something new for me. I haven't ever done this before, so it should be pretty fun. I'll show you what software I use, how I edit my videos, how you could edit videos if you want to do that, if that's a thing that you want to do. And the intro is already getting awkward, so let's just get into the meat and potatoes, if you will. The steak and complex carbohydrates. Oh my god, let's just do it. So, the software that I am recommending is called Shotcut. Now, the reason I like this software is because it can do a lot. The elements of well-known softwares like Adobe Premiere. Now, the software itself can be quite complex because there's a lot. It's a very manual software, which is one of the reasons I like it, because you can specify things to the most minute of details. However, rudimentary editing in this software is pretty simple, in my opinion at least. It's a good editing software all around, and it only gets as complex as you make it. So now you want to download it. Here's where I suggest to download it. There is a website called CNET Downloads. Now, why do I prefer to download it from here? Because it virus checks all the programs it puts on here. So it's nice to know that you're not getting a Trojan horse virus or something when you're downloading an editing software, because that just isn't great. So all you have to do is look up Shotcut, ignore the 5,000 ads, select it, and you want to make sure that it is actually the real Shotcut. Make sure it's been updated recently. Look to see if it has any flags in virus total. Pretty sure they don't upload anything that has any flags, but then what you want to do is you want to download it. What's going to happen is it's going to appear in your little download area box town area. Do is click on it, and it should open an exe file. You double click it, and it's pretty easy from there. It walks you through how to install it. Or you have another option. You can download it straight from Shotcut. Now, let's hop over to Shotcut. Yay! You downloaded it. Congratulations. You're very smart, and you have earned the gold medal for downloading Shotcut. First thing we want to do is we want to open a file. Now, don't make the mistake of dragging and dropping. Well, yes, this works with most other softwares. It doesn't really work with Shotcut. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. It's a good software. So when you select it, your video file is immediately going to show up, and what you want to do is click it, drag it, and then you throw it into your timeline. A few key things to know and consider. First, you want this on. It is called toggle snapping. Toggle snapping is very important because let's say I turn toggle snapping off. Let's say I wanted to cut this, right? So you have random black spaces in the middle of your videos. You don't want that. So turn on toggle snapping. So when you cut something, it automatically snaps to the other part of the video file. So you don't have to worry about going over or being under or possibly overlapping something. Right here, you have the 3 bars. This is where you insert audio and video tracks. Adding video tracks essentially adds more space to throw in videos, footage, photos, whatever. I throw a video in a video track that's above another one. The video in the video track above it is always going to be dominant. So, if you want to overlay something, you would want the video track to be on top of the other one. Audio tracks are very helpful, especially if you want to add stuff like voiceovers, music, sound effects, whatever. If you drag a video file onto it, it's going to convert it just into audio. Let's just throw some music in there. Just so when you're using a video file, there are 3 different buttons you can click on that track. Now, to edit a track or anything on a track, you want to make sure it's selected. That's very important. Now, from there, you have these little buttons over here. But what do they do? Well, I'll explain it. So this is locking. So essentially that means you can't touch, move, you can't do anything with any footage in that track, which can be very helpful, especially if you don't want to accidentally cut or delete or whatever in that specific track. You can mute it, which turns off all sound of that entire track. Now, this is an important thing, because if you hit that button and then you export it, you're not going to be able to hear anything in that track. So make sure you don't click it by accident. And then you have hide, which hides all video footage. You can still hear it, you just can't see it. So let's move on. You have your two overlapping videos. Let's say you want your main video to be louder than your audio. So we would want to go into filters. There's a lot of complexity with filters. This is where you can zoom, you can mute stuff, you can change opacity, pitch, etc. But we're not going to get into it because there's a lot of complexities. When you open it, you're going to have a few options. So for this specific example, you want to go to gain and volume. Let's say you want to turn the music down. All you have to do is click and or drag this little bar, and you can change how quiet or how loud something is. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you can turn it up. You can turn it up as loud as you want, and it'll blast your eardrums out. This effect works for video footage as well. It's not just works for video footage, literally anything with audio. Now, let's say we wanted to actually put this on our video file instead. You can hit copy the filters, which copies all the filters you have. So be mindful of that. And if we wanted to remove this, we could simply select remove filter, the minus icon, click this, and paste it, and bam, there we go. Now your eardrums will be blasted out by the video file instead. Hey guys, Editor Benino here. Looks like I left out a very critical detail. Don't know how I did that, but let's just go over it real fast. So, I forgot to tell you how to save. I have no idea how I forgot about this. You can click the floppy disk up here, called save, or you can hit the keyboard shortcut Control S. Also, if you want to save multiple copies of your edit, just to make sure you have a backup, you can hit save as and save it as a separate project. Anyway, back to the video. So, the snip tool it's a tool that you were pretty much always going to use when you're editing. So, with the snip tool, you move the little tracker right here, where you want to snip it. Let's say right here, because there's not much actual sound going on. Then you click the S key. That snips your file into two. And let's go to the very end, and we hit the S key again at the very end of this to cut that. I don't want this. I don't want this file. What's this stinky little file doing here? How dare you still be there? Let's get rid of this terrible, awful footage that we don't want. We don't want you footage. There's two choices we can use to delete this thing from existence. So, the first option we have is the backspace. Now, the backspace deletes it from existence. However, it leaves a giant gaping hole. Now, let's say we don't want that. It left and now it's still taking up space? How dare it? This is the most disrespectful piece of footage I have ever experienced. So, let's bring it back to delete it again. Now, this time, we can hit the X key, which does the exact same thing as the backspace, except it gets rid of the gaping hole. It's like it never existed. The only issue with this is that it moves everything over, so if you had audio that you wanted in a specific place in a different track, you would have to manually move it with it, and sometimes that can get complex, especially if you have multiple different tracks with different audio and sound effects, stuff like that. So you just want to be mindful whether you're going to use the X or the backspace. Let's say later in your editing endeavor, you really love this 5 seconds. You love it so much, you want 2. So, what you want to do is you want to cut it, once again, your S key. Now you have two options. You can do it where you right click and you hit copy. It's too much work to hit 2 buttons. So let's hit 2 other buttons instead. There is a shortcut called Control C. Now Control C, holding Control and hitting C, copies it automatically. And then you move your little tracker guy over to where you want to paste it, and you hit Control V. Let's say I just pasted this absolutely wonderful, magnificent, godlike 5 seconds. But I accidentally hit the backspace. I said I hit the back. Oh no! My 5 seconds is gone. How do I get it back? Well, there's another easy solution. Instead of going up here and hitting the undo button, because that's far too much work for me. Instead, I'll hit Control Z. Now that undo what you just did, and you can also hit Control A, which selects all video and audio footage in your entire video, and you can use it to slide around. You have this little bar and buttons right here. If you click that, it'll zoom in and zoom out for you. And now we're done with the video editing process. And now all we have to do is export it. So, what you want to do is you want to go to the very cleverly named export button. When exporting, you can always choose exactly what file you want it to export as. It's going to automatically export as an MP4, which is a pretty universal file. So let's just go with that. Then all you have to do is you hit export file. Now make sure when saving it, you save it to a very specific spot, so later when you come back to it, you can find it easily. Then you want to go up here to the create button, hit upload video. Now we're going to select the file. Your video is going to upload, and while it's doing that, you can throw in the title, the description, whatever you think is appropriate. So let's just name it banana pants. These are my banana pants. You can add a thumbnail, custom thumbnail. From there, then you would select whether it's made for kids or not, which you're gonna absolutely have to do. Here's where you select exactly when your video is gonna be posted. Now, you're gonna wanna go with public, but unlisted allows it so you can send the link to people, the link to your video, and they can watch it. It's just not public. And private is you have to specifically choose who can watch your video. And then all you have to do is hit save. So then from there, your video is going to continue uploading until it has finished. Now, if you don't have the ability to download an editor like Shotcut, then you can actually use YouTube's built-in editor. You're not going to be able to add video. However, you will still be able to add in music. Okay, now we want to trim this area of the video. So you click trim, and then you click split, and you scroll over to the end of where you want to trim. Then shade out a specific area, and when you hit that area, it's going to skip very end. While it may not be the most advanced editing tool, it still works. I really, truly do recommend Shotcut. It's just better, period. That concludes the amazing Benino's obligatory editing video. So, I wanted to thank you for watching. Hope you learned a little something about video editing, at the very least Shotcut. And I gotta go because my fridge is on fire. And there's a bear inside of it. So, yeah, bye.